We'll be starting about 10 seconds after 8.
Leagues, with nearly 1,500 reaching that pinnacle. They've been responsible for the new era of the championship destination event, driving the evolution of diamond sports. PG and PG softball have always placed the athletes, their families, and coaches first, with well-run, impactful events. Now, Midwest Sports Productions, the pace car and youth fast pitch and baseball events blanketing the heart of America, joins forces, standards, and aspirations with PG to form Perfect Game Midwest. The winner? You, your journey, your family, your dreams, your home. And from ours to yours, welcome home to Perfect Game Midwest.
To contact Perfect Game Midwest, call 913-543-6116 or visit baseball@pgmidwest.org or fastpitch@pgmidwest.org.
When you want Chiefs, follow the leader. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Definitely would like to get another Super Bowl. Not the only thing, but, that's why we play the game.
I'm just excited for what we can do this year. Last year was great. Won a Super Bowl, but we got to do it all over again. So I'm excited about the new challenge. You just got to live in the moment and appreciate what's at hand. And what's at hand is that we got another chance to go after another one.
Your home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports talk powered by fans. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. The power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades. Track Talk, brought to you by Rod & Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Scott Traylor. He's Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. Todd Surprise helping us here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, and the Drake working back at Sports Radio 810 WHB for us today. And it's always good to have Drake on board with us. Kirk, it's always good to have Drake on board with us, isn't it?
Absolutely. We love Drake.
Yeah.
So
He's
known each other a long time.
He's been a huge asset to us over the years.
Yeah, without the Drake, Sports Radio 810 would not be the same place.
It would not be.
No.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. Kirk, last night, we got a lot of stuff to get into. Logan Schuchart picks up the win last night. What'd you think about that race up there at Huset's?
He looked strong on Thursday night, too. He and his teammate Jacob Allens finished in the top 5, and Schuchart stepped it up another notch last night by picking up the night 3 victory at the High Banks Nationals at Houston Speedway. So
beating Buddy Kofoid has been steady Eddie, hadn't he?
He has, even though his teammate James McFadden, those two guys driving for Roth Motorsports, McFadden won the feature event on Thursday night, but didn't make the show last night.
He didn't even make the show last night.
But Buddy Kofoid has made the shows.
Yeah,
all 3 nights, and he sits pretty good in the point standings right now.
Let me ask you this, Kirk. Do you think this is a way for Buddy Kofoid to get into the 83 car eventually?
Well, I don't know. James McFadden is doing pretty well.
He runs pretty good in that car. Yeah,
he's won 4 races this year.
Do you think they put the 83 Junior out on the tour?
I'm not sure what the plan is for Buddy Kofoid. Right. I doubt that they're going to have that car out at all the races, but certainly the Crown Jewel events.
Right.
I could see Dennis Roth putting Buddy Kofoid in that 83 Junior car for Knoxville, the Kings Royal, Million, those races, and maybe a selected other events. But as far as fielding that second car full time out on the World of Outlaws tour, no, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see it either, because that's typically the West Coast car.
Yeah,
right. They run that out in the West, the 83 Junior car.
And the selected other events would be like the Gold Cup and some of the other events when they head out West, I could see Betty Kofoid stepping in that car for those races, in addition to Eldora, Knoxville.
He's looked pretty good in that car for no experience in that car itself. The 83 Junior car has no experience with that team and is really ran well.
But we also got to remember that Betty Kofoid won his first World of Outlaw event at Houston Speedway last year.
That's true.
So he knows how to get around that racetrack. Yeah. He's spent a considerable amount of time around Houston Speedway in a midget. They ran 100-lap midget races the last couple of years up at Houston Speedway, and Betty Kofoid's been a big part of that. So he's gotten laps around that racetrack.
Man, that was a great battle between Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield, and a little bit of Brian Brown in there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. How about Brownie? He picked up like 4 spots right there at the end of the race on the last lap.
He started 9th. He ended up 7th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At one point, when they were coming around for the white flag, he was outside the top 10.
Right.
And he had made some contact with another car there at the end. And there was a little bit of a question. Schuart had the
mud cover
off the car that was creating a little bit of vibration. He thought maybe it was a down tire, but there was mud packed inside the wheel of that car there in the last several laps. But he'd lost that mud cover early
in the race. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So anyway, he made it to the end. Got a great restart in clear traffic right there with just a couple of laps to go, and able to speed away to victory last night.
Holding off Buddy Kofoid. So that was pretty good stuff last night. That battle between Spencer Baston, Brad Sweet, David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield, that was a pretty good battle back there, wasn't it?
Great action. I thought last night's racetrack was the best of the 3 nights so far, especially when you look at all the action that went on in the heat races. The heat races were better last night than the previous 2 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as racing action throughout the whole night, last night I thought was the better night of the 3.
I did too. I thought it was the better of the. We got a little bit of sound, don't we, Kurt?
Yeah, we'll hear from all 3 of the winners. Kyle Larson was not there last night. He was in Nashville getting ready to qualify for the Cup race.
He'll be there tonight.
He'll be there tonight.
Yeah.
And he's 11th in points right now. So you took the best 2 of the 3 nights. So you're able to throw away your worst night and combine your best 2 nights for the points. And Kyle Larson won on Wednesday night, and he had a pretty decent finish on Thursday night. But let's hear from Kyle Larson, who picks up the opening night win at the High Bank Nationals.
Engine took off really good, and I was able to get good runs there the first laps and move forward. And once I got to second there behind Rico, I could pace him, and I felt really good behind him. I could close on him a good bit in 1 and 2, and he'd pull away a little bit in 3 and 4, but he looked like he was getting really tight as he got to traffic. So just started cheating my entry a little bit and making sure I didn't make mistakes, and can still get good runs on exit, and
guys, I'm not hearing any
enough
audio.
to clear him there into 3.
They're
so
not hearing any audio.
Great track. I know they've.
It.
Apparently
you guys
not
talking about it though.
Yep. Kirk, you might be plugged into the wrong hole right there.
Did we get audio through you? I heard it through my headphone anyway.
I had it to me, so we're going to
we'll try to sort that out and get that. But anyway, Kyle Larson wins on Wednesday night. Thursday night, it was James McFadden, and last night, of course, Logan Schuart picked up the winner.
Right. Who do you think's the favorite to win this race?
Well, I think you got to look at 4 or 5 different guys that have a real good shot at winning this. Logan Schuart certainly would be one.
Right.
Buddy Kofoid, we've already talked about him, but I think you got to look at David Gravel, who finished second 2 nights in a row.
David Gravel has finished second 4 times in a row, not last night, but since Beaver Dam, he's ran second 4 times in a row since Beaver Dam.
Yeah. And then last night he finished in 5th spot.
Right.
So that string was broken last night.
That was broken last night. But listen, you can't count out David Gravel. I'm just going to say it. I think David Gravel's got as good a shot as to win this race tonight as anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think?
And he drives a car owned by the owner of the racetrack,
right?
Todd Query.
Right. That would be nice for Todd Query if he picked up that win, wouldn't it?
He carries that Houston Speedway banner as a sponsor all season long.
Right.
So, that certainly would be a huge win. Sheldon Hodenshield
He's not carrying that banner on his car this year.
No.
Right.
Not because the Billion Auto Parts.
The Billion Auto Parts.
The title sponsor of the event is on that car this way. Why would you promote Houston Speedway when you're at Houston Speedway?
Right, yeah.
You do that when you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
But Sheldon Hodenshield is another driver that you got to take a look at. He's the defending winner of this event. And you remember he came outside the top 5 in the last couple of laps to win that race last year, and he's looked strong so far this year.
Yep.
And so
our buddy Ayrton Jeniton, he's made some A-mains, but he's not up to speed as he picked up that win on the local race last, what was it, Sunday? Was it Sunday?
Sunday night.
Sunday night. But he hasn't really shown a lot of speed so far. But he's still doing pretty good.
Hats off to the track crew up there. Sunday night, we talked about this on Monday's Mostly Motorsports show, that the track rubbered down on Sunday night. And I made a comment that they were going to have to really stay on top of it because it was going to be hot and the sun's going to bake down on the track. Well, you know what? They have stayed on top of the racetrack, and they've prepared a great racetrack all 4 nights. Last night I thought it was the best of the first 3 nights up there, but it's been a great racetrack so far this week.
They've done a great job. You know, they probably took the rubber that laid down the first night, and they probably got pretty upset over that. And if I'd imagine, Todd Query probably said, that better not happen again. You know Todd Query.
Yeah.
He's a strong-willed person, and you know he's going to tell those guys, do not let that happen again. Let's make sure that we work this racetrack over. Let's not have any rubber on the racetrack, and I'm sure that the message was loud and clear from Todd Query.
And they heard that message.
Oh, no doubt.
It was heated. So
no doubt.
It's been a great racetrack all week. Tonight, $5,000 to start, $250,000 to win.
$250,000 to win.
That's the most of any World of Outlaw race that has ever been.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about Sheldon Hodenshield, the defending winner of this race. If you remember the last time they paid $250,000 to win a sprint car race, it was 20 years ago. I went there that night. Eldora Speedway for the Mopar Million non-wing race.
Yep.
Sheldon's dad, Jack, walked out of there with that $250,000.
And we're going to the $1 million race, right, Kurt?
Can't wait for that. Coming up on...
That's going to be fun.
The 13th of July is when that'll take place. $1 million to win.
You going to ride out in the truck with me?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that'd be good.
We just got to figure out a way how to do this show with both of us at Eldora Speedway.
And we want to thank our good friends up at Liberty RV for loaning us an RV.
Yeah.
Preston and Beverly are the greatest people to me. They've always been so special in my life. They've always taken care of us with RVs, haven't they, Kurt?
They have. Great people up there at Liberty RV.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
You were planning on heading to Pennsylvania, but plans changed.
I was going to go to PA for the PA Speed Week.
Been raining out there.
But there's a lot of rain out there.
Rained out last night, the opener at Williams Grove.
So let me just tell you what I did. I ended up deciding to go to Huset's, and I dragged the trailer up there, and when I get up there, there wasn't one campground within 30 miles of that place that wasn't completely full. And it was disturbing to me because I pulled all the way up there. 6 hours to get up there. And when I get there, they tell me all the campgrounds are full. So what did I do, Kurt?
You drove home.
I drove home.
No place at all. Of course, you had to make last-minute plans because you had originally planned to go to Pennsylvania.
Right.
So this was kind of a last-minute thing, and all those camping spots up there had already been spoken for, probably weeks in advance.
I went to Bubba's. I went to KOA. I went to the grounds where they had the all the campground around the racetrack. They were completely full. All the dry area was completely full. There was not one place that had an open place for me. I could have stayed there Wednesday and Thursday and had to leave Friday. But why would I do that? Just come home and watch it on TV.
Well, I hate you drove all the way up there. Now, John Lee and I are after the show, we're heading up that way.
What's the rain situation today, Kurt?
It's in the forecast, but I'm not going to let that stop me.
Well,
they'll get it in.
You might get up there and get rained out.
Well, if they do, they'll run it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think they'll get it in tonight.
Where are you going to stay tonight?
Sioux City on the way back.
Sioux City.
Yeah.
That's a long ways away from the racetrack.
Hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. So would you go to Sioux City and then go back to the races?
I'm not going to worry about that until I have to worry about it. I'm counting on this race happening as scheduled tonight. It's a 5.5 hour drive from where we are right now.
They had a little threat of weather up there last night, didn't they? They pushed the show through. They didn't.
The last two nights they've done that.
Well, and what they didn't do last night, they didn't do the heat race winners. Did you notice that?
And they've done that 2 nights. They did it the first night, but they didn't do it the last 2 nights because they were in hurry-up mode, but it never did rain.
Man, Chase Rodman is so good, man. I just love listening to him. He's such a good pit reporter.
Austin Lloyd doing a good job up there, too, the local Houston Speedway pit reporter.
And what's the announcer's name up there in the booth with Johnny?
Sean Neested.
Sean is really good, too.
Great announcer.
They might be the best local team in the business. Would you agree with me?
I think so. Of course, you know, we like Tony Bachhoven and Chris Krug and
oh yeah, no doubt.
Blake Young, their new pit reporter up there. But yeah, Sean Neested and Austin Lloyd do a great job up there at Houston Speedway. We watch them every Sunday night.
Right.
Do those races, but the mixture. Johnny Gibson and Chase Rodman coming in, working with those two guys, worked out very well all week long. Guys doing a great job.
They're on the same level.
Yep.
Would you say?
Yeah, they got it all covered.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
They don't miss a beat. Mm-hmm. Don't miss a thing.
So last night, Corey Day picks up the win and that's 2 wins in a row, right, Kurt?
At the Dirt Cup at Skagit Speedway out in Washington. That's north of Seattle. You've been there many times?
I've been there many a times. So a pretty good crowd last night, too, by the way.
Most of the crowd sits outside of turns 3 and 4, right?
Right. They sit over there in 3 and 4 for the most part.
Corey Day had a great starting spot last night, too. Outside front row.
Mm-hmm. Well, Corey Day is a really talented driver. Wouldn't you say, Kurt?
Oh, extremely talented. Young guy, too. He came close to winning a World Outlaw race a couple of times when the Outlaws were out there a year ago. And so he's got it going on right now. $60,000 to win tonight at Skagit Speedway. And right now you'd have to say Corey Day is the odds-on favorite.
Right. And a series that we promoted on our website for a long time, the Northwest Focus Midget Series, they ran last night too as well, didn't they?
They did. And the winner of that race was Shane Smith last night at Skagit Speedway.
Mm. Those drivers have changed a little bit since we've been up there.
Yeah, a few different guys that have mixed in the group up there.
What was the kid's name?
Midget.
What was the kid's name that won a lot of races up there? Taylor, wasn't it? the kid named Taylor?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
The name escapes me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But two big high-paying races.
That doesn't happen very often.
PA Sprint Week has been delayed because of the rain out at Williams Grove last night. They'll go at it at Lincoln Speedway tonight. That's south of Williams Grove near Gettysburg. Abbottstown, PA will try to go at it tonight. Still rain in the forecast out there, so hopefully it'll avoid Lincoln Speedway, and they'll get into action tonight with Sprint Week. Some of the guys that are running that, of course, are Anthony Macri, Brent Marks would be the two favorites. Lance DeWeese, I'm sure, will be running a lot of those races out there, although he's not running full-time. Danny Dietrich would be another one of the favorites for PA Sprint Week this week. So we'll keep tabs on that as we go through the week.
Our friend Tammy from out in Pennsylvania, she said, Scott, you made the right call staying home. Weather in PA is terrible. So that's Tammy from Pennsylvania.
Another Pennsylvania racetrack, Lernerville Speedway, hosting the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. That's in western Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh. Had a 2-hour rain delay last night after the rain interrupted the Thursday night show. They had to run the two preliminary features at about noon on Friday, and then they turned the track around. Last night had a 2-hour rain delay, and they finally got it in. For the feature, and Ricky Thornton Jr. and Max Blair, the two feature winners of the preliminaries after Jonathan Davenport and Tim McCready won the afternoon preliminary races. A 100-lap feature paying $50,000 to win. The Firecracker 100 goes at it tonight at Lernerville Speedway, weather permitting.
How about McFadden and Buddy Kofoid running first and third? That's two Toyotas running on the podium on that first night.
Getting back the High Bank Nationals. That was on Thursday night. Yeah, you had another set of teammates, the Shark team of Logan Schuart and Jacob Allen, also running in the top 5.
Right.
So, yeah, the Toyotas, first time they finished in the top 3, 2 of them.
Yep.
At a World of Outlaw event. They got it done on Thursday night.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We hope that you enjoy us talking about motorsports right here on WHB. We'll be back with more. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. They'll be racing down at CMS on June 30th. So get down there and check them out. We'll be right back.
Sports Radio
3.5 minutes.
WHB.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Looking for that perfect gift for that hard-to-shop-for friend or family member? Do what I do. Send the gift of competition, Kansas City Barbecue, and let Joe's Kansas City deliver the gift that will stand out from all the rest. I'm talking about Joe's ribs, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Can all be sent anywhere in the United States. Choose from their pre-selected kits or go ahead and build your own. Then let Joe's handle the rest. Check out all their smoked meats, wonderful side dishes, and even desserts. They're online right now at joeskc.com. That's joeskc.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Compensated dramatization.
What if your car wreck case settled for $1,000 and you later found out that it may have been worth over $100,000?
Insurance companies try to trick you into taking a quick, cheap settlement. Don't fall for it. Call me. My team will get you what your case is worth.
I didn't take that fast, cheap settlement. I called Mike and his team after my wreck, and they got me $125,000.
Call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hello, Kansas City. Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing here. Do you have your furnace inspected each year? Probably so. Do you have your roof looked at every year? No? Call us today for a free roof checkup. If we find an issue, we will write you a proposal right there on the spot. If your roof is all good, we'll leave you with the peace of mind knowing the best roofing professionals in Kansas City said you're all set. Inspections are always free and suggestions are built on intent.
Yeah. Hey, we're concerned you didn't hear that audio coming through there.
I'm going to check a video real quick.
Yeah,
Let me
see if you can hear this. Hang on.
I'm hearing that.
Okay, you heard that, but you didn't hear the audio from my computer, apparently.
I did not.
You were probably plugged in the wrong hole.
No, it was coming out over the... I heard, did you hear that audio coming through my headphones there, Todd?
Yeah, it went over the stream, so I don't know why it didn't go to 810. But it went over our YouTube stream. I went back and double-checked it.
Okay, as long as you heard this.
Is it a left-right channel thing where left goes one place and right goes the other, and it's only on one of those channels?
I'm gonna
could be.
We're gonna check it after the show. But we got everything else through my computer, so we're good.
All right, good enough.
Programming's good.
Back.
All right, we're back in 45 seconds.
All bodywork and detailing, we keep your vehicle looking like new.
We are the oldest, largest family-owned auto group in Kansas City. Almost 50 years of service to over 1 million customers.
Thank you, Kansas City.
Attention, everyone. Are you ready for the summer heat? Let ProBuilt Pool and Patio get you started on your summer prep. As the largest provider of fiberglass swimming pools, we have the biggest selection and offer the fastest installation times. At ProBuilt Pool and Patio, we proudly stand behind every home we serve. We make dreams come true and deliver them right to your backyard. The best time to get a pool is right now. Call today for your free quote. ProBuilt Pool and Patio, 816-786-3893.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Want to give a little shout out to Melvin, who's listening in from Ohio, and give a little shout out to Neil, who's listening in from Western Australia.
How cool is that?
Big sprint car fans in Australia.
There's a lot of sprint car fans in Australia.
Wonder how big of a hero James McFadden is out there.
Yeah. Kirk, tonight, NWRA at Valley Speedway, right?
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be one of the big non-wing events anywhere, really. So Valley Speedway going to host them tonight.
I'm going to stay home and watch the Huset's race.
Why don't you go out Valley Speedway? Check that out.
Why don't you go out there? You live right...
I'm going to Houston Speedway tonight.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm going to be.
You're going to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kirk, Trenton Berry, he made an announcement on the show with us this week, didn't he?
Yeah, he and Austin Kruger run RacinDirt.com. They cover all the USMTS live events, but they've added ASCS events over the last couple of years, which we used to do here at raceboys.com. We're not in the video business anymore.
We did it for 13 years.
Right. And big announcement earlier this week when we had Trenton Berry on our Mostly Motorsports show. They are going to carry live all the ASCS National Tour events for the rest of 2023 and looks like beyond that, too. So this is a good partnership forwarded by Terry Maddox. They've already carried some of the events, the regional ASCS events and the Oil Capital Racing Series that Terry Maddox owns and operates too. And so we thought it was a big announcement. They'd been carrying the National Tour races over the last several weeks, and they're going to continue to do so. And they had the race at Lawton Speedway on Thursday night that Jeffrey Newell won. And they're going to be at Caney Valley Speedway tonight. You can watch that on RacinDirt.com.
That was Jeffrey Newell's first National Tour win, wasn't it?
First National Tour win.
Yeah.
So anyway, tonight they'll be at Caney Valley Speedway. And here's what Trenton Berry had to say about RacinDirt.com carrying the ASCS National Tour events.
Trenton, I know that you texted me a little bit earlier, and there's some ASCS National Tour news coming up, right?
Yeah, so it is, and I'm finally at a place we can talk here a little bit, and we've done the last handful of ASCS National Tour races, kind of on a weekend by weekend basis, but excited, and then the press release isn't even out yet, so I know Brian was working on it, but. I don't have any better time than now to just let everybody know that we're going to be carrying those national tour races going forward. So it's been a long time in the making here. There have been a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages to get this all orchestrated. I sincerely appreciate Flow Racing's willingness to work with us on this, and I don't think it can be. I can't state this enough how appreciative I am for them making it available for us. There was no battle, there was no war, there are no hard feelings, there is no drama, and that when you start talking about rights fees and negotiations and discussions for races, virtually never happens. And I am as good or better friends with Michael Rigsby than I was before we ever started talking about this. And they really went above and beyond what should have reasonably been expected in the scenario to help make this possible. And I cannot thank them enough for that. I'm thrilled that we're going to be able to carry these races going forward. I've got a great group of people. I mean, we got a heck of a team, and they've been working like crazy. And you know, Stick and I talked to them when this was coming about, like, hey, this is going to change some things. This is going to add some dates. And to a person, every one of them said, let's go get after it. And they were excited to do it, and we are too. And I'm going to get to a handful of them personally. I'm the least important cog in the wheel for this whole thing, but I'm going to be at a handful of these races too. I've been watching them. I've been watching a lot more open wheel races. I'm trying to get myself up to speed with what exactly we're doing, how to do this the best, and how to help Terry Maddox and all those teams elevate and rise to the level that I know they want to be at. I'm excited to be associated with them, and I hope this is the start of a great partnership for many years to come. There it is. I know you like breaking news.
I know that. And listen, all of these races are going to be on Racing Dirt, right? Not on Flow.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I watched the last two nights of racing at Humboldt and 81 Speedway, and I got to tell you right now, you guys are doing great coverage.
Hey, listen, is Michael Jackson going to be shooting all those races?
So Michael Jackson is producing, and Cordell Rogers is shooting. Josh Mathis. We've just hired a new shooter, a kid by the name of Zach Trunkhill. He was with us at Cedar Lake this weekend. He's going to be available for some of these. It was really tough. The timing was really tough. The timing was not ideal because we just had to figure out how we could make this work. Like, it's not easy to just go add 60-some races. I don't know exactly what the total was, but in that ballpark.
Yeah.
In the middle of the year, once you already have a staff schedule planned out, and it required additional hiring, and it's been additional nights away, and it's been more equipment. But it's something that we felt strongly enough about that it was worth kicking the can down the road because things like that just aren't available. And they're certainly not available in a scenario that you don't have to go fight and screw somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's a thing that in this world it just doesn't happen. So when you have a small window for opportunity, you better damn well figure out how to do it if you want to stay in business.
Yeah.
And Michael even had went and they had ran Cordell from the top down to the grandstands to shoot interviews. Michael had shot and produced. He had cut a camera while he was shooting. We've tried all sorts of different things, and everybody's kind of filling their niche and figuring out what's going to make it work. And ideally, I'd like to add. I got a couple people. I'd like to add one more person at some point here. We're not probably going to be there this year, and maybe not even next year. I don't really know, but I'd like a 3-man crew to go do ASCS. But I'm super proud of my boys for what they've been able to do here, and it's really important to them too. You know, we've done a lot of this OCRS and URSS and the regional races, and just trying to get our feet underneath us in this world. You know, stuff Terry's involved with, and man, I just want to be a great partner to him. I've been super impressed with Terry. Is a
go-getter,
grassroots go-getter, and man, I'm just telling you, that's the kind of guy that I want to go work with. I mean, That's exactly what we are, and that is a combination that I am super excited to go put our time and effort and our money behind. It's the kind of guy I want to tell people about. It's the kind of racing I want to go watch. It just is. And you know what? I've said it a lot, and we've talked about it as a group. I have the utmost respect for Todd Staley. He is one of the greatest promoters in the history of dirt track racing, and I don't use that lightly. And you might say, oh, well, okay, this or that. You think about the millions and millions and millions of dollars over that guy's career that he's been responsible for paying out, and the fact that he's not cut purses. If there's any way possible, even if he's going to go lose 20,000 plus on a race, if the weather, a lot of times the weather's bad, he will still push to go get those races. And there have been some times we have raced on some nights that it was insane to go try to race. And I've told him, like, dude, you are freaking crazy if you're going to go run this race. I have that level of respect for Todd Staley. I see a lot of the same tendencies, even though he's younger, doesn't have the experience, but the will and the grit and the determination to just figure out how to make it happen. I see a lot of those same things in Terry here, and I've been really impressed, guys. You know him, you guys know him really well. Hell, you know him better than I do. I don't have one single thing that's made me step back and go, boy, I don't know there.
Right.
And I'm ready to go all in with them. I'm really proud of our boys for where it's at right now. I'm going to tell you, it's not easy what we've asked them to go do, and they've hit a freaking home run with it. So
yeah,
it's just going to have to get there, and it takes time, guys. It took us 6-8 years to get the USMTS to be really good, to be where you're like, all right, this is going to be able to do it for us. And I want to get ASCS racing right there. And the main thing, the reason I want to do it, because I believe that the guy making the decisions has no quit in him. And I respect the fact so much when somebody just refuses to lose.
What is an underrated product right now that you've had some of these races on? The Oil Capital Racing Series. They put on some pretty good races this past weekend.
And I'll tell you this, viewership's picking up on that Oil Capital Racing Series. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been pretty impressed.
It's good racing.
Hey, listen, we had good numbers with OCRS, didn't we, Kurt?
Yeah, a new star has been created. Reese Moran. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you too. I know it's a little bit out of the wheelhouse from, Kansas City to southern Missouri here, geographically here, but I'm just telling you guys, Fountain City and Deer Creek Speedway Weekly, we got Tyler Rinkham that shoots those, and he does so much for us, so much creatives and promotional work, but he streams those two racetracks weekly, and I mean, just shut the front door. I mean, those places, they race out of this world. Every week, people care about them, people go to the races, people watch the races, so I don't want to sell that stuff short. I've told you guys a lot of different weeks, just racing Minnesota and Wisconsin, how strong it is overall, and to have the opportunity to work in those two places is special to us too. Yeah. I don't think most weeks I'll always have news like this, so I was tickled to get that out there, guys. Especially I know you guys aren't in the streaming game anymore, but I know how important that series was to you all and how much you valued it and the effort and the money that you put into it. So I just want to tell you thanks, and I'm hopeful we can carry on at least a small part of what the foundation and the groundwork that you guys laid for it. So just know that it's important to us. We're going to treat it just like we treat the USMTS, and I hold Terry Maddox and Brian Holbert in the absolute highest regard within this entire sport.
Well, there's nobody that wants to see the ASCS succeed more than the Racing Boys.
That's a true statement right there, Kirk. We spent 13 years, I did, traveling up and down the road with the Lucas Oil ASCS National. It's not the Lucas Oil Series now. It's ASCS National Tour. And Lucas is no longer involved with them. And, after spending 13 years out on the road, 180 days a year, traveling like a gypsy, we want to see the ASCS flourish We'd love to see a little more star power over there, right? I think that's what they're lacking a little bit of right now is star power. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah. But if you take a look at the attendance at some of these most recent events, there's been some pretty good crowds show up at these ASCS national events, which is really good to see because we love Terry Maddox, and we're all about his energy. He is putting a lot of energy in this and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make this go, and it's good to see some good crowds at a lot of these events.
Terry Maddox is as good as they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that he's loading himself down with the Rebel Series, the OCRS, the ASCS National Tour, all the regions that they
now
have.
600 Series.
Now 600 Series. He's got a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, a lot going on there, but he's a young guy, and he's very energetic. They had the Oil Capital Racing Series event at Red Dirt Raceway last night. Reese Moran won again.
And he wouldn't be where he's at today if it wasn't for Angie Battle. She is his right-hand person, and she does a great job helping him out. So she does a good job.
And, of course, Brian Holbert, big part of that as well. Scotty Cook doing the pits for the National Tour and the other events.
Right.
So Scotty Cook, big part of it.
That's episode number 268 for anybody that needs to find that episode where you find your favorite podcast.
Right.
Ayrton Jennington, Chase Rodman, and Trenton Berry. We got a couple more interviews second hour.
Hey, Kirk, I know that we were quick to bag on Lakeside last week for having 4 cars, but they had 11 last night.
They did. Kerry Davis coming up with the win.
He picked up the win last night. Yeah.
And Mark Chapman wins the B-Mod race, and Krista Shong winning 2 features at Lakeside last night.
Right.
In the E-Mods and the USRA stock car class, and Marshall Jewett, the pure stock winner. So congratulations to all of those guys at Lakeside Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
There's a name from the past, Marshall Jewett.
Marshall's been around a long, long time. Listen.
He single-handedly kept the Grand Nationals alive because of his unique car style.
Right.
Every year we'd bring a different style out there,
right.
And he, for many years, I mean, people would come out just to watch his car.
Listen, I raced with Marshall Jewett in 1989 out at Lakeside Speedway when it was pavement.
Absolutely. We did an interview with him on Metro Sports Show. We got an interview on that. So.
We're going to talk.
He's been racing forever.
For a long time.
Forever.
Yeah. We're going to talk late model racing, too. There's a big event at 81 Speedway this weekend, World of Outlaw Late Model Series. Case Construction Late Models. Ryan Ragland was down there last night. He'll give us a report in hour 2, and he gave us some sound that we'll play. Brandon Shepard and Bobby Pierce, the 2 preliminary winners at 81.
Plus, we've also got Ayrton Jennington and an interview that we did with him, and Chase Rodman talking about this weekend's race up at Huset's as well.
And he's live in Mexico.
He was in Mexico when we talked to him.
He was living it up right. Let me just say that.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He's in Brandon, South Dakota right now.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more of Track Talk right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. They'll be racing down at CMS on June 30th. So get down there and check them out. We'll be right back here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Hey, Drake.
Come out and witness all the high-speed drama.
Yep. See if you can hear this sound.
Talking with Brandon Shepard coming in first place in the first race, and
I'm not going to play that.
I'm not getting anything.
Yeah, he's not getting that, Kirk. I don't know.
Nothing. All right.
Save that for the second hour.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. We'll figure it out.
Are you
Receive 20% off. That's right, 20% off just for using the promo code 810. Heartland Motorsports Park, House of Speed.
What's up, DP family? The Pandemonium Tour 2023 tickets are on sale now. We are so excited about this brand new tour traveling all over the U.S. Brand new battles, unbelievable cool, not cool items that will blow your mind, and tons more. Don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at DudePerfect.com. Signing off for now. Pound it. Noggin. See ya.
Dude Perfect Pandemonium Tour 2023. Live at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Thursday night, July 27th. Get tickets now at DudePerfect.com.
Icon is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 65 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 18 nights and 4 outpatient visits. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $12,700 for time and travel. Call Icon today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
I'm Dr. Andrew Palmisano, a fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon with Ascentus Healthcare. Ascentus now has orthopedic surgery and sports medicine. Myself and Drs. E.J. Wilkinson and Nick Aberly are available for all of your orthopedic needs. Come see our state-of-the-art clinics during our walk-in hours featuring same-day and next-day appointments, Monday through Friday in Leawood and on Parallel Parkway in Kansas City. Call 913-395-0294, 913-395-0294 to book your appointment at Ascentus Healthcare today.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Proud to say that we've been here for 23 years, Kirk. One radio station for 23 years. How about that, buddy?
That is awesome. I can't think of a better place to be. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they're the America's leader in sports, locally owned, and they don't have much turnover at Sports Radio 810.
No.
All of us are still here. So.
Yeah. Including the Drake.
That says something.
Yeah.
Including the Drake.
Yeah, including the Drake.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Looking forward to heading up the road to South Dakota here after the show. $250,000 to win
tonight.
A sprint car race.
And you can watch it on Dirt Vision, right?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine the energy that's going to be in that place when everybody lines up for the A-Main tonight? There's going to be a King of the Hill type deal where they bring 2 cars at a time out on the track to race for the top positions on the starting lineup tonight. So the points, Logan Schuart doesn't exactly start on the pole. He may start on the pole, but they're going to have King of the Hill 2 cars at a time races to determine the top starting spots tonight.
Right. That they do that at the Chili Bowl sometimes.
They call that the scramble.
The scramble down there.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
So who do you think? Who's your favorite to win tonight?
Wow.
Are you going to say you're not going to say Kyle Larson? Are you?
That's the easy choice.
He's
right?
He's going to, I think, start too far back.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't rule it out that he could, but he's 11th in points right now. It's a 40-lap race, so you can't count him out. But I'm going to say it's either David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield, or Logan Schuart. One of those 3 drivers.
Throwing a big net.
I'm going to go. You know who I'm going to pick?
Who are you going to pick?
I'm going to pick David Gravel because he's due. He had all those second-place finishes. There's nobody who's got more second-place finishes than David Gravel. He's won his share of races.
Right.
But he is due.
I'm going to
pick off
say
the big win.
The podium is going to be Rico Abreu, Buddy Kofoid, and David Gravel. Those are my 3. I think Rico can work his way up from 8th. He's pretty good at that up there at Huset's.
He's been running up front just about everywhere. Now, last night he had some kind of an issue with the throttle or the ignition or something going on there, and he had to pull in and start at the back. But are you surprised by how poorly Donnie Schatz has been running lately?
He's 25th in points right now. He is 129 points out of the lead.
I mean, for a while, Schatz had really got that Ford program rocking and rolling, but here over the last several races, something has been missing.
Well,
the 15 car.
You know, what's more surprising to me is Parker Price Miller. He's 29th in points.
Yeah.
And he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's just it's shocking. Some of the guys that haven't even made the A main. They've had to run B mains, and of course in this deal there are no provisionals.
Ryan
so
Timms.
if you don't get qualified through by points for these preliminary A mains, you don't make it in. Like James McFadden last night didn't make the A main after winning on Thursday night.
Ryan Timms is 24th in points. Would you believe that?
And it's not as though he's running poorly. He's had a car that's been competitive out there.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's had a fast enough race car. He's qualified decent in these preliminary nights, but he's had trouble finishing the heat races and the A main. And, of course, if you don't make the invert, the way they qualified these cars, you had to be in the top 36. If you qualified 36, you could start on the pole of your heat races.
Right.
But if you're 37th, you're in the back. But if you don't at least pass one car in the heat race, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Right. Last week's local winner, Ayrton Jennington, he is 33rd in points.
They just haven't had enough speed.
No.
Qualifying just hasn't been. And it's like the Knoxville Nationals or any of these big crown jewel events that make the lineups based on points. Knoxville's a different format because they split the field on the two qualifying nights. But if you don't qualify well in time trials in these events,
no doubt,
where
you're
points
behind
are
the eight ball.
Premium, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. Garrett Williamson is 41st in points. I'm a little surprised by that, aren't you? A little bit. He's been showing a lot of speed. He got a podium finish with the World of Outlaws here just recently.
But that was at Knoxville.
Yeah.
A track that he's run better at.
He's pretty good at. Yeah.
Houston Speedway, not like Knoxville. So you just got to have speed in these cars and get good qualifying runs, or you're going to be in big trouble trying to make the A main tonight.
Do you think Logan Schuchart has a chance to win the race?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's number one in points right now. And he's going to start, I would say, no worse than the second row. I'm not exactly sure how many people are going to be eligible to run these King of the Royal races, but I think it's 8 drivers. But
they're going to do the shuffle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
King of the Hill, they call it.
King of the Hill.
Now, what I heard last night, based on the current number of entries, the top 2 are guaranteed a spot in the King of the Hill events tonight, Logan Schuchart and Buddy Kofoid. There's going to be other drivers, as many as 4 additional drivers that are going to be eligible for the King of the Hill. So Logan Schuchart is going to start no worse than the second row tonight, I believe. He and
How do you know that, Kirk? Because they got to do the shuffle, the King of the Hill.
Well, I'm just listening to Johnny Gibson the way he described it last night.
But, I mean, they got to do the King of the Hill run, right? That could change everything.
Well, it could.
He could start as far as back as 8th, right?
The way they described it, the way this goes last night, the 2 drivers that are guaranteed starting spots in the King of the Hill, Logan Schuchart and Buddy Kofoid, will come out towards the end of the King of the Hill eliminations, and they should start no worse than the second row, the way I understand it.
Yeah. You think Buddy Kofoid's fast enough to win?
He's fast enough to win it, but can he pull it off over guys like David Gravel?
Listen, Logan Schuchart put a whipping on him last night, didn't he?
Yeah. And once that late yellow flag came out and he got in clean air, he was just able to check out despite the mud in the right rear wheel where the wheel cover came
Are
off.
Are we underestimating Brad Sweet picking up the win up there? He could do it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Remember last year he got
Four-time
upside down.
World of Outlaw champion.
He had trouble up there at this event last year. He got upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yep, no doubt.
He only had like 2 races the whole year where he really had a big problem. The other one was at the National Open at Williams Grove.
Didn't he hit the gate?
That was David Gravel hit the gate last year.
Yeah.
The gate came open and David Gravel hit it. I'm going to pick David Gravel based on he's running fast enough consistently. He had like 4 straight second-place finishes.
Since Beaver Dam.
Since Beaver Dam. That at some point he's going to break through, and I think tonight is
Kirk,
tonight.
And the thing about it is, on the last lap, he challenged for the win on the last lap every one of those 4 races.
He did.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying at some point he's going to bust through and get it.
Right.
So you look at guys like David Gravel, Sheldon Hodenshield, Logan Schuart, certainly fast enough race car to do it.
All right.
And Rico.
Yep, no doubt about it.
Rico's got a shot at it, and we've already talked about Kyle Larson.
Yep, no doubt about it. Kyle Larson's going to be a player, no doubt about it. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all been brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. Again, they're going to be running down at CMS on June 30th. Kirk, you got anything to add?
Just excited about what's going to happen tonight up at Huset's Speedway.
You're getting ready to get out of here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. And don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it on our Facebook,
10 seconds,
Twitter,
10.
and racingboys.com. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.
Thanks, guys.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Brad, I really...
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum, and our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
All right, welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Saturday morning. Kirk Elliott. I'm Scott Traylor. Todd Surprise running the show, as he always does.
Next week I won't be here, though.
You're not going to be here the next 2 Mondays? Hold on, your mic cut out.
2 Mondays and 1 Saturday. I will be mobile again.
So who we having come in for us, Kirk?
We got Kyle Collier going to help us out here the next 2 Mondays and next Saturday, and Deidre's going to be helping us out as well.
Yeah, she knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
Usually, when we started this, we figured Kirk would be able to stand back here behind here and help co-host on the days that I'm not here on the Mostly Motorsports, but things kind of got juggled a little bit when everybody's deciding to hit the road different times, so it's going to be a little different. But it turns out that you're going to be here in the studio anyway on Monday, so Kirk will be able to help Kyle out if we have any problems.
What we want to try to do
my plans were shot down completely.
Yeah,
completely. As I went to Huset's, drove all the way up there,
Just crazy.
Didn't find an RV spot, couldn't find one, and then drove home. How about that, Kirk?
That's not
12
fun.
hours of driving in the truck.
That's not fun.
I hope I don't do the same thing
Hey,
today.
I almost run out of fuel. I was talking on the phone, and
And looked
next
at-
thing you know, the low fuel light come on.
Running out of fuel and a diesel, not good.
Not good. And it just so happened that I was at Mound City.
And not every place you can just pull in and get diesel fuel.
No.
Yeah, you
There's
got lucky, didn't you?
There's a lot of space in between the gas stations up there. And luckily enough, I rolled up on Mound City and rolled into Casey's and filled up. I was lucky.
Along the interstate.
I was so lucky I didn't run out of fuel.
Along the interstate, most places ought to have diesel fuel, but not every place does. So, well, I'm sorry it didn't work out.
Mark says, howdy from T-Town. You know where T-Town is?
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
Hey, I got the format for tonight at Huset's. We're talking about this King of the Hill.
Right.
It looks like the top 4 will be locked into the King of the Hill. And so those drivers are Logan Schuart, Buddy Kofoid, David Gravel, and Spencer Baston. Now, what happens is everybody that are in the 4 qualifiers, the top 4 in cumulative points will be locked into the King of the Hill. Balance of field will be split in 4 qualifier races tonight. Winner of each qualifier to the King of the Hill. So we'll have 8 drivers in the King of the Hill, but the top 4 in points are already locked in the King of the Hill. They won't have to run those qualifiers. So the 4 qualifier races will join the top 4 that I just mentioned for the King of the Hill, and that's what sets the first 4 rows of tonight's A main.
Just keep it simple.
That's the way they're going to work it tonight.
Right.
So we got 4 qualifier races, a King of the Hill, and a 40-lap A main. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Frog says that dark horses, Jacob Allen, Gravel, Rico.
And some of those guys are going to have to come from a ways back, it looks like, unless they win the qualifier races. You can still be not so good in points. For
Right.
instance, Kyle Larson, he comes in, he's 11th in points. He'll have to come from mid-pack in the qualifier to win. But if he wins the qualifier, or anybody comes from back in the pack of the qualifier and wins that race, they're going to start no less than the 4th row. So even though you may not be among the top 10 in points tonight, if you pass a lot of cars and get up towards the front of that qualifier race, you got a real shot at starting in the first 4 rows.
Kirk, I believe that it's NWRA over there at Valley Speedway tonight, right? NWRA.
Is that what's running over there?
Yeah, I believe that's what's running there.
Valley Speedway. I didn't check on that. See, I know they have non-wing races at Valley Speedway.
Trust me on that. I think
So
it's
that's it.
NWRA.
Okay.
He says, trust me.
Trust
I'll
me.
take your word for it.
That's a scary thought to trust me. isn't
Trust
it?
me.
Yeah,
He
just
says.
trust me.
Trust me.
Just trust me.
We weren't able to get the...
I want to say hi to Kelly. She's checking in from Central Point, Oregon.
Fed
today.
you a wheel, Kurt.
Yeah.
That's okay.
He fed him a wheel, Scott.
I'm not.
I did.
I'm not worried about
He
it.
was right in the middle of it.
It's okay when he does it to me.
It is. It is. But,
love it.
you know, Kirk is the king of talking over people.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said, it's in there. It's
You
built
interrupt
in.
me all the time.
I know it, but it's only because you do it to me.
You guys are built in that way.
We got Ryan. We got Ryan Ragland checking in here in a few minutes. He's going to give us an update. He was down at 81
Let's
Speedway
play some
last
sound,
night.
Kirk.
Let's do that first, but until we get, let's hear that sound that
We
we
tr- that we
couldn't
tried
get
to
through
play.
the 810 in the first hour.
We know you streamers heard it because we all heard it, but for some reason we don't think it's a problem on our end. But we're going to double check that. But we can play it now. That's not an
Right.
issue at all.
All right, Kirk.
Let's do it. Kyle Larson, the winner on Wednesday night, the opening night of the High Bank Nationals, and here's what he had to say after his feature victory.
Yeah, the restarts definitely helped me. I was able to, engine took off really good, and I was able to get good runs there the first laps and move forward. And once I got to second there behind Rico, I could pace him, and I felt really good behind him. I could close on him a good bit in 1 and 2, and he'd pull away a little bit in 3 and 4, but he looked like he was getting really tight as he got to traffic. So just started cheating my entry a little bit and making sure I didn't make mistakes, and could still get good runs on exit, and enough to clear him there into 3s. So great track. I know they've been working really hard on it to get a surface that's producing good races for the fans, and I think that was definitely a great race. I know gravel was probably really close to me there at the end. I was just kind of stuck in traffic. Those guys running too wide in front of me, and I just didn't want to give up the top, and I felt like I could close my entry off enough. Maybe that if they did get a run, it was going to be hard to slide me, but all in all, a great race car. So thanks to Paul Silva, Fulkin Brothers Trucking, Finley Farms, Flow Racing, Durst Incorporated, Works Limited, Glenn Stiers, HendrickCars.com, everybody, JVI especially for everything he does for our team. So good to have a good first night too. I only get to run 2 of these prelim nights, so I got to make them count. And we had a great night tonight. Qualify good, move forward the heat race, and then obviously won the features. So hopefully have another good one tomorrow.
As great a night as he had on Wednesday night, not as good, but it wasn't real bad on Thursday night. But he, you take the best 2 of the 3, so he wasn't even there last night. So those 2 nights that he was there is good enough for 11th in the points. Let's hear from James McFadden, who won on Thursday night, but he didn't make the show last night.
No, he didn't make it last night.
For Roth Racing, his 4th win of the year. Let's hear from the Aussie, James McFadden.
After last night, I was contemplating if I could drive a sprint car anymore. So, just hats off to Brant, Wood, and Rob. I didn't do a very good job last night, and I couldn't put it down to whether I was comfortable or just me not doing my job right. So, we worked hard. I felt really good all night, and it shows, man. These teals are tough to win. So, yeah, anytime you can win one is great. Man, I thought I threw it away there that last lap. I had my wing back a ways, and after that caution, it's like my left rear tire went down a little bit, and I just kept pushing, but I knew if I didn't keep my wing back, I'd lose some drive. So just messed up there on that last lap, and was lucky enough I was racing a guy like David, and he's super respectful. So I know I was probably a little bit rude, but I didn't want to lose 20 on the last lap like I did last year. So yeah, pumped to be standing on the front straight. Dennis and Dorethia have 2 cars up here on the front straight, which is unbelievable. So congratulations, Dennis and Teresa. Thank you for the opportunity. Toyota Racing Engines, obviously proud to be a part of that program, and hell of an engine. So I don't want anyone else to get them. I wanted to keep them to myself. So.
Yeah, that was a little bit nervous time there on that last lap when he got up into the loose step down there in turn number 1 and almost lost it right there.
On the last lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Gravel
came
close to getting around.
He wiggled over there in turn 2.
He did.
He had a little problem there. Yeah.
So, but he was able to get it to the line. Then last night, after Shark Racing, both cars, Logan Schuart and Jacob Allen, finished in the top 5. Schuart comes back last night and picks up the feature victory.
Yeah, it's tough to judge the lap cars there. Sometimes, I catch Brock there, and, they're dicing around with each other, running their own race, and just kind of a little worried they're going to, take me out. But just try to set a good pace, make good laps, consistent laps, and just drive a smart race. So, there in the beginning, I was kind of happy not to get the lead there in the start. I wanted to see, kind of how the racetrack was moving around for a little bit. And then once we got to the top, I could kind of gauge how I wanted to do my starts. And once we got going, just how get to the top, start making momentum. So almost thought we were going to lose the thing. I feel like I had a right rear going down there at the end. Didn't feel right once we started the thing back up after the red. But I was trying to spin the thing, get air back in it, and get back to the top. There's pretty, nasty hole there in 1 and 2 in the middle. And I was trying to, all in all, if everything was right, I would have liked to go above it and kind of dart back down, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that with the tire being a little low. So happy we were able to hang on. $20,000 is a lot of money, but we're focused on $250,000 tomorrow.
I mean, this purse money that they paid out for this thing, $20,000 to win these preliminary nights, that's $60,000 for the winners on the preliminary nights, plus $250,000 and $5,000 to start on Saturday night. We're talking $750,000 purse for this event. It's incredible.
That's great money. Big money.
Yeah.
But not as big as the $1 million.
No. That's and I haven't seen the breakdown of the pay for the $1 million or what it pays for second. I haven't looked at that pay scale for the $1 million coming up.
Hey, Kirk, let's bring on Ryan Ragland. All right?
Let's hear from him.
Hey, Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
Let's see. I've already washed the dirt off myself from last night, ready to go again tonight.
Yeah. You know, I went out to I-70 the other night, and it was dusty. And I got a pimple on my forehead.
Well, I feel sorry for you.
It's called summertime at a dirt track in the Midwest.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
That's when the dirt gets in your pores so thick that it gives you I got one right here, right between my eyes.
I don't have that problem, so you may want to go to a dermatologist.
I might.
Thanks for the sound. We're going to play those sound bites that you sent here just in a little bit, but let's talk about last night. Two big stars winning preliminary rounds, Brandon Shepard and Bobby Pierce getting it done in preparation for $30,000 to win tonight.
Both of them led. No, I'll take it back. Shepard did not lead all the laps. Kyle Bronson took off for the lead, and twice during his feature, he jumped the cushion in 4. And the first time he got passed by Brandon Shepard, and that was game over. Then they had to restart. Bronson decided to take the inside line, and I asked Ryan Gustin about it, and he said he wasn't surprised about it. So I put Gustin on the high side, which I looked at one of the photographers I was standing next to. I go, okay, Bronson's going to take the low line, and he's going to leave Gustin the outside line, and everyone's ripping the top. And he looks at me and kind of shakes his head, gets into one, and Bronson loses like 3 or 4 spots when he washes up going low into 1. Gustin was solid. Gustin was kind of catching Shepard a little bit toward the end, but it got to the point where he knew it wasn't going to be worth the extra effort. Just take your second place. Shepard at 81 right now is the guy you've got to shoot for. He's won the last 3. And in the interview, he said he really, really likes Kansas, so he's got to be the favorite. And then Bobby Pierce led all his 25 laps. Hoffman kind of came up a little bit. He messed up a little bit, and then Tanner English came up on a late caution with 2 to go and took the second place spot. And the first heat, I don't want to say lockdown, but the top was so fast during the first 25 laps that was just where you needed to be. The second one, and Pierce talked about it, the transition of the track, probably 3 or 4 transitions during the 25 laps, and you had to run different places, and the track was just good. It was nice racing for all 50 laps.
Hey, let's hear from these winners last night. Let's first hear from Bishop, who wins the first preliminary race last night.
Talking with Brandon Shepard, coming in first place in the first race, and I guess my first question is, have you decided if you're going to buy some property here at 81 Speedway or yet, or are you going to wait a little bit to see what the value goes?
I do like Kansas, I will say that. I like deer hunting in Kansas. I like the racetracks in Kansas. Everything about it.
That's a little
is right up my alley. So it's a little bit too far away from home for me, but I love coming out here and racing, and these guys do a really good job with the track. Every time we come here, we've had some times where the track ain't been that great, but since these guys have had it, they always put in the extra effort to make sure that it's good as they can get, you know.
I was going to say it was the track was pretty. I'm not going to say locked down, but the top side was so fast that you really didn't want to chance the bottom because you didn't know how much you were going to end up losing.
Exactly. In my race, it was, you know, the top was where it was at. The cushion was big enough to where you kept going up there, and we pretty well knew that was how it was going to be. But you know, by the end of the night, by the end of the last feature, they were running around the bottom all over the place. So you know, that's just the nature of it. You know, the track's really good, and usually by the end of the night, they're running all over it. So we can't ask for anything more than that.
And that is Brandon Shepard, who picks up race number 1. So your thoughts about Brandon? How these cars going to be lined up for the A main tonight, Ryan?
Well, before I jump into that, kudos to Brandon Shepard. He was working on his car while he was doing that. So he was totally cool with that. He goes, "I'm going to be a while, so you might as well get it done now." And I'm like, "All right, we'll knock it out." What they did was they have the Group A and the Group B. I believe the Group A will be the inside rows of each heat. The Group B will be the outside rows. Shepard will be pole on his. Gustin will be pole on his. Bronson will be pole on his, and then you've got Pierce that'll be outside pole in his heat. Then when they do the heats, they'll do the X amount will make it to the B, and then to the A, and then they'll have the rest of their regular shows that way. But their finishing of their features determines on where they're at for their heats.
And Bobby Pierce, certainly a guy that can make it happen on this type of a racetrack. Let's hear from Bobby Pierce after the second feature win last night.
Bobby Pierce taking the win in the second feature, and I got to say it's been a while since I've seen you use the high line, the low line, the middle line, the middle, the mid-high.
Yeah, right.
The transformation of the track on your race compared to the first one was totally different, but it was good. It was real racing.
Yeah. The top and 1 and 2 slowed down a little bit, let the bottom come in, and then 3 and 4, I think the bottom had a lot of moisture down there. I'm kind of surprised them guys didn't find it in the first one, and then we threw all the moisture comes out in the middle, and that made the middle fast. So it was really fun searching around and trying to find the best line. I would have liked it just stay on the bottom and cruise, but Hoffman was coming and had to do something, and it was fun.
I'm pretty sure you didn't want to see that caution with 2 to go.
Yeah, no, I didn't, but I figure if I get a good restart, hit my marks in 1 and 2, I figured 3 and 4 I had it pretty under control. Just 1 and 2, that the high line was kind of where it seemed to be at the time, and it was right up along the wall, so you couldn't really make a mistake. And it was a lot of fun out there. I think if the racetrack's like that tomorrow, it'll be a really good race.
It looks like you guys are really settling into this Longhorn chassis this year.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We've kind of just right from the beginning found our groove, and I like it a lot. It fits me, and of course, always trying to get better. But we've been pretty darn good.
All right. Well, nice job tonight, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
There he is, Bobby Pierce, the smooth operator, winning the second A main last night.
So what'd you think of that race last night, Ryan? Did you think it was pretty good?
Oh, the second feature, I mean, you had 2 different kinds of features. You had a bad, fast first 25 laps where, Shepard, Gustin, and Bronson, a bunch of them were set up and ripping the lip. And then you get the second 25 where, kind of like what Bobby was talking about, you're setting up high, and then he found the moisture down low, and then Hoffman was coming. And Hoffman actually changed his line a little bit. He was up high for a while, and he was really gaining. And then it kind of, the top and bottom kind of leveled out a little bit with some guys running low. Well, then the moisture in the middle side of the track started coming up. So then Hoffman started entering into the middle and kind of letting it come up to the, or check that he was coming to the middle in 3 and 4. And then he was running up high in 1 and 2. And then Pierce was running down low. Well, then he came into lap traffic, and then he started running up high and found something else there. And guys were moving, and I mean that's the second 25 laps is what you want for
right.
When you're going for a big feature. It never locked down, never rubbered up. It just guys were just finding what was fast, and then that second 25 was just guys were where they needed to be.
Who seemed to be the fastest, Bobby Pierce or Brandon Sheppard?
It's hard to tell just because of the way the track was for each of the features, but until someone knocks the king off the hill, you got to take Brandon Sheppard. He just he's won there the last 3 times. He's been fast, but last year when the World of Outlaws was there, you had Billy Moyer Sr. running up high on the restart with Sheppard up, with Sheppard leading, and Ryan Gustin was running the low side. So, that track's going to take, it's going to transition from here and there for, I think it's 50 laps, 40 laps. I forgot to take a look, but kind of back to what Sheppard has done since FOE has taken over 81. I don't think that track's ever looked better.
Kyle Bronson
acted better.
Kyle Bronson was the fast qualifier, but he didn't really have that good a night. He started on the pole, and he ended up running third. What was going on with Kyle Bronson?
He led a lot of that race, did he not?
He led probably about the first 10 laps of his feature. But when you jumped that berm in 4 and it was heavy, once you got past it, Brandon Sheppard got inside of him, and then they had a restart. Sheppard or Bronson decided he was going to take the low line, and Gustin said in his interview that he wasn't too surprised that Bronson took it down low because there was still some good brown stuff down there, but Gustin got his momentum off the top side past Bronson, and that was about it. Another time Bronson jumped the berm in 4, lost a spot, got it back, and you can't lock your hubs up on a late model when you're in the heavy stuff. It just doesn't work.
Yep, no doubt.
Let me tell you one guy you had better sleep on, and we haven't talked about him yet today, and that is Smokey Madden in that number 44 car. Started 8th, finished 5th in that first A main last night. He's a guy you can't count out.
No, I thought he was going to be the one. I thought he was going to be in the top 3 for sure. He was one that I was looking for, and I told one guy, I said, I think Madden coming from the back, if they get a couple cautions and he can pass a couple cars, he'll be up there. He didn't get up there as much as I thought he would. Kind of like what Bobby Pierce was talking about. He was surprised they didn't catch the bottom like they did, but like Sheppard said, the top side was so fast that you didn't feel like you felt like that if you went down one, you went down there and tried it for one lap, you were going to lose too much.
Right.
Looked like they had a big crowd down there last night.
Pretty good crowd, pretty good, and won the full house, but that just the preliminary on Friday night. But I'm suspecting with the way the World of Outlaws sprint cars looked in April when I was there, that was an absolute full house. This is going to be a full house too. So
right,
I think so.
If you're not doing anything and you're in the area, it's going to be worth it, because watching sprint cars or late models on TV at any track, let alone 81 Speedway, does it no justice to get the sensation of just how fast they're going, because these guys just roll it. Marlar has the track record at 15.71, I believe it is, and I think they went 16.0 last night. Track wasn't quite as fast as it was last year.
16:26.
Okay. I thought I saw a 16.0 on the board, but I didn't see that. But yeah,
Bobby Pierce qualified 16:057.
Yeah, 16.0. I
Yeah.
thought I saw 1609, but yeah, the track is so fast, and the track doesn't have to be fast to have good racing.
Right, no
When
doubt.
you get, like I said, the second 25, the mid came in, you had the low side, you had the high side. You know, as long as you got guys that can go anywhere they need to go to get the pass, that's where your racing is.
Let me throw in here that Scott Bloomquist has cancer.
Yeah, sorry to
Yep.
hear about that prostate cancer, right?
Prostate cancer.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was supposed to have the last thing I saw, he was supposed to have a surgery. I thought it was supposed to be at the end of this month, and I think they moved it in a couple weeks.
Well, we wish
he was
him well.
supposed to be, I think it was at Eldora last week or something, and wasn't able to make it. And then word came out. And in fact, if anyone wants to get an update, look on Flow Sports. They actually have a little clip, like an 8-minute clip on someone that's close with Bloomquist that kind of gives an update with what's going on with him.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just interviewed him a couple of weeks ago at Eldora. He wasn't driving, but they had a good interview with him.
Ryan, we appreciate everything you do for us over here at Racing Boys, buddy. We can't thank you enough for doing so.
Well, I thank you guys for giving me the chance every time, and you know it's one of the best things a guy can do when he can get there and go watch the races and have some good food and actually, you know, enjoy the races and talk to some of the drivers. It's a good time. Also, side note to Todd, I'm going to be sending a couple interviews. One with Ruben Morales, the voice of the World of Outlaws, and also I'm going to get about a 10-minute interview with Steve Francis about being the tech director.
All right.
Cool.
That'll
Thanks
be
so
good.
much, Todd.
Yeah, man. We appreciate
Ryan?
that.
Yep, just send it on over, brother. You can send it both of us. We'll take care of it.
Ryan, you're always so good to us, buddy. We can't thank you enough for everything you do for us, buddy.
Have a good time down there tonight. Looks like a good one.
Safe travels.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I appreciate you guys too, and we will yell at you guys later.
All right. Thank you. There
he is.
Ryan Ragland. And he is a good boy, man.
That racetrack, I watched those two preliminary races last night, was in great shape.
Yeah.
At 81 Speedway. Didn't take any rubber, and it was about as good a shape as we've seen it.
Todd, which one do we want to do first?
I'd do Ayrton because it's a pretty good interview, and he had a pretty big win the other night.
All right, let's play that one. This is an interview that we did with Ayrton Geniton after his big win up at Huset's last week on the local show.
He was driving the local team's car, the
14H
the Kroll Racing team.
The 14H.
Or its long-standing team at Houston Speedway.
Huset's.
Now he's in his own, the Haywood Motorsports, number 19 this week.
Yeah.
At the High Bank Nationals, but
Yeah.
he was in this ride where he won on Sunday night last week. Big win, first-time win at Houston Speedway for Ayrton Geniton.
All right, here we go.
Crazy is to think about the whole deal there. It's like we're racing at Lake Ozark Saturday night, and then, you know, I always drive myself up, so I think from Lake Ozark to Houston is about a 7.5 hour drive. So
yeah,
anytime you can drive up there, get some money, and get out, it's a good week.
How did you get hooked up with the 14H car up there at Huset's?
Yeah, so whenever me and my previous deal split ways, they kind of were trying to work something. They were trying to race with Madsen, and it just didn't work out racing with Kerry. They just couldn't. They just, I don't know what happened there, and their deal kind of fell through, and my deal fell through. And my buddy Kobe is related to Judd, who owns the car, and he kind of got us talking, and just kind of went from there. And for me, it was kind of like the perfect thing for me. I didn't really have anything going on, and really just needed a place to race to get more laps throughout the season. And I always go good at Houston, so that's a place I look forward to racing a lot. So it was kind of just one of the things where it was right place, right time. I had a connection through Kobe, and he was able to hook me and Judd up, and then it just kind of snowballed into what it is now. And it's like I always say, there's signs when you need to do something. And
right,
I ordered a seat from Darren Pittman at Chili Bowl, and that seat showed up the same day that Judd called me. he actually just called me after that seat showed up, and I'm like, well, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I took the sign and I ran with it.
Hey, so let me just probe a little bit here. How disappointed were you when that all fell apart at the start of the year? When it all fell apart, how disappointed were you in that?
Yeah, you know, it was almost it's a you know, you're disappointed in the situation because you know we all kind of agreed to do the whole year together, and you almost felt like you kind of get the short end of the stick when you're kind of left just trying to chase your tail and try and put something together, and you know, either get rides or try and figure out your engine program or figure out truck and trailer. Like we raced out of 4 truck and trailers in 4 weeks straight, and you know, we had great people that stepped up to help us out in situations like where if I needed to borrow a truck and trailer because, you know, we couldn't find anything. So we were just borrowing stuff, and I had great people like Justin Porter and now Brody Hayward and, you know, other people that offered their stuff up too, that if I needed it, I could use it. So, you know, it's just a matter of you really see who's there for you, you know, and, you know, it really shows you who's there for you in the end. So,
right, yeah.
You know, I got to thank those guys, first of all, for stepping up when we needed it. And, you know, it is what it is. You know, not everything's going to last a long time. Everything's got a time frame on it. And, you know, it sucks when it's kind of the start of the season, you know, when you got a lot going on and a lot changing in a program, you know, you want to kind of have a chance to get it off and running. And, you know, I feel like we never really had that proper chance like we deserved. And, you know, and the way I look at it now is I think we're showing them what speed we do have now. So,
yeah,
you know, I'm just happy to have the guys I got. You know, I got great people with Brody Hayward, my dad, Wet Step, Sam and Kelly, Hidden Gravel, Tony Stewart, High Performance Loop, Excavating, and Maxim, and my rider, Wes Mar. Like, I got a bunch of really good people with me.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kenny's Tile, and then with my guys, Steve and Ace, and obviously Randy when he comes and helps, and Miles too. I got a really good group of people, and on my personal stuff, and then up at Houston, Judd and his family, they're amazing. So
what was it like to have to throw together your team there at the last second? Was that difficult for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think, man, it was crazy. Like, we were going racing and not even touching a race car. We were working on getting, you know, moving stuff into a truck and trailer, trying to get it organized in one day, and, you know, running around like a chicken with no head, just trying to get stuff situated to where we could race properly and race at a competitive level. And, you know, it made it tough, but, you know, that's one thing. Like, you can't quit working at it. You got to persevere and keep going, and that's what we did. And, you know, it's starting to pay off for us. We're getting quicker everywhere we go. And,
yeah, no doubt.
You know, I feel like we haven't had our Knoxville runs like we'd like, but, you know, I feel like we're going in the right direction there too. So I'm really happy with everything. And, you know, it just shows, you know, like I said earlier, it just shows the guys that are behind you. And like I said, when I won at Houston last night, you can replace equipment. You know, you can buy equipment, but you can't buy the guys. And you ain't going to win races without having good guys behind you and on your side. So it's all about the guys you surround yourself with, and I got a good group.
You know, the one thing about the Genetons, you guys are tough, and you don't give up, and that's what I admire about you guys, is that you're all just trenched in, and you just never give up, right? You're just wired like that, right?
Yeah, and that comes a lot from just, you know, seeing how my dad's been his whole life. You know, it's Father's Day was yesterday too, so it's kind of crazy to think about it. But, you know, you say that, like, a lot of stuff I try to base how I handle stuff is how my dad would do it. And, you know, my dad's a go-getter. Anyone that knows my dad knows he don't quit. He works his butt off every single day, and, you know, he's probably the best role model I think anyone could ever have. He's a hard worker. He's a good guy. And I'm just really lucky to have him as my dad. And then obviously my grandpa, you know, he paved the way for us as well. So I'm very fortunate to have the name I have and have people in my life that, you know,
believe in you,
like-minded like me, that are go-getters and believe in me too. You know, like my grandma, she called me probably 3 times last night on the way home. Like, are you all right? I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I got this trophy next to me. I got to make sure it gets home safe.
Let me ask you this: after winning up there last night, do you feel like you have enough car to win the overall deal this weekend?
Yeah, so we're going to actually be in my personal stuff this weekend. It's
okay.
We never really kind of we talked about doing it when we first put this deal together, and we just kind of said we'd play it by ear. Well, whenever me and Brody Hayward partnered up, he wanted to kind of run his stuff up. He wanted to have his name up there, and I was kind of just kind of one of them deals. That's how it just kind of worked out. But I mean, I feel like I'm bringing just as good of stuff up as they got, and I'm going to have Judd helping me this weekend, so I don't think we'll be in an unfamiliar place. Like, we'll have familiar faces around me. I feel like, if anything can happen for, $250,000. So, I mean, I can tell you one thing, like, I feel like up there at Houston, it's like we've been the best car. I feel like we could have had 3 wins there by now. And, I feel like I got really good stuff too. So
right.
I'm not saying it's I'm definitely going to say we got a decent shot at it. Like, I think as far as momentum goes, we got a lot of momentum on our side with, getting 2 wins in a row and then winning last night. So against a bunch of really good guys too. So, I'm really excited for it, man. I'm excited for it. I'm glad I get to be home tonight and then go back up tomorrow. It's nice coming home a little bit. And, I'm just excited to get up there. I really think, if we're in that A main Saturday and we're inside the top 8, like there's a shot we can probably put something on the line.
You've always ran good at Huset's, and you got to be overly confident that you have a chance to win up there in your own car, right?
Yeah, I feel like we let a few slip away last year. We only went to 4 weekly shows last year, and we should have been on the podium in 3 of them, and should have won at least 2. So we were fast last year there, and we're fast this year there with Judd and the Cruels, and it's just I don't know what it is about Houston. It's like I kind of feel like I'm more of a big track guy, but I tend to run good on the small stuff too. So in Houston, it's just kind of like one of them happy mediums where it races like a big track and a small track at the same time, and it's just kind of right up in my wheelhouse.
How was the track at Lake Ozark Speedway? It didn't take any rubber, did it?
No, actually, I would. I got to give hats off to Kenny Brown and everyone over there. That's probably single-handedly the best racetrack that they've had in a long time. It was really smooth. It had a top. It had a bottom. You could run multiple lanes, and, you could really get racy there. So they did a great job on the surface. I was a little worried at first. I thought it was going to be a little too heavy all night, but the track ended up being really, really awesome. Probably definitely one of the top 5 tracks they've had that I've raced on there. And, obviously when you win, you want to say that stuff, but it was a very good racetrack. It didn't hurt tires, didn't take rubber. It was, I thought, really racing. I think it was a good show for the fans too.
I think they're trying to figure it out. I think they figured it out a little bit there for sprint cars down at Lake Ozark Speedway. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I definitely think they're getting a good handle on it. I feel like it raced like the old Lake Ozark. It had a cushion you could really run the crap out of, but if you were really patient, you could run the bottom and be right there with the guy on the top. And I definitely think they're getting it figured out. Though it was a lot of fun to race there, and I'm looking forward to going back for the All-Star Show coming up in July.
There you have it. Ayrton Chinnerton picked up the win last week on Sunday up at Huset's. He's 33rd in the points right now.
Which means he'll have to start towards the back of one of these qualifier races tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's going to be really difficult to pass. The competition's so fierce up there that it's just hard to pass people. And if you do, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So wish him well up there tonight, but it's a tough road for him tonight to get into that A main.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm trying to find out where Blake Hahn is in the points.
He would be. We can look that up. I think he was on the page 2. He is 34th in points right now.
Okay.
34th out of.
He's made a couple A mains.
55.
He made
the A main last night.
Yeah, he did.
Made the transfer out of that B feature and got into the A main. But you start that far back, it's just hard to.
He's
make
right
any
behind.
headway.
He's right behind Ayrton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those two guys are about even. Blake hasn't run any of the C mains this week, but he's been in all the B mains. Now, he got a good start in last night's B main, but the 2 nights before, he was starting so far back in the B main, and a 12-lap B, it's just hard to get yourself up to even think about getting in the top 4.
Yeah. All right, well, we have another interview that we did with Chase Rodman. He is the pit reporter for the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series, and he's on every week with us. And it's just a blessing to have him on each and every week with us, isn't it, Kurt?
It is. Now, this is an interview that we did before he arrived at Houston Speedway this week, but lays out what to expect this week at the High Bank Nationals and what's going on with the World of Outlaws. Here's Chase Rodman.
Let me ask you this. How difficult was it for you to not be at a World of Outlaw race this weekend?
Yeah, it felt pretty weird for sure to not be there. I've done it. I've missed 1 week in the last 3 years, for this family vacation, which, I think it's a good thing. I see a lot of races all year, going to every single one. So I think it's probably a good thing for me to, get away for 1 weekend and then come back and, kind of get a little fresh start going, especially when we go to a big race this weekend at Houston and stuff like that. So it was definitely tough, but, I'll be back for the rest of the year. I won't miss another one. So, it was definitely weird, but I think Hannah Newhouse stepped in and did a pretty good job.
Now when Johnny Gibson...
she did an excellent job.
We need Johnny Gibson to take a couple of days off, and you could step in and take his spot for a couple of days. Do you think that would ever happen? What are the chances of that ever happening?
Man, I don't think there's any chance of that happening. He's got that streak going of 2,000-something races in a row. I don't think you'll ever see him break that streak. He'll announce a race from a hospital bed, I think, before he doesn't call one. So I don't think we'll ever see it happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about Friday night and the win for Gio up there at Beaver Dam. What'd you think about that victory? That was kind of interesting on that last lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole night of racing. Obviously, I just watched the highlight reel on YouTube, and, man, Gravel made it close there. But huge win for Gio. Obviously he got that high limit win earlier in the year, so it wasn't like his only win this year. But it took him a while to get that first Outlaw win out of the way as a full-time driver. And we talk about that all the time when those rookies, man, they come in and they can win some races when they're not full-time. But once you're on the road, grinding up and down the road, it makes it tough. And he finally was able to do that. So great to see that. And we just did an off-day segment with him at Knoxville last weekend. Maybe that was the good luck charm, got him to victory lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won that $50,000 out here at Lakeside Speedway back in April, so he knows what it's like to win big money. But that was his first Outlaw win for a long time. But David Gravel looked like he was ready to pounce right there, but he did a good job of holding him off. What about Sheldon Hodenshield? Sheldon Hodenshield, he's been struggling lately. He won that race up here at US 36 Raceway. We were up there for that, but he's really struggled lately. And for him to pick off a win on Saturday night, heading into a place that he was very successful at, Houston Speedway last year, big night for Sheldon Hodenshield and the Ricky Stenhouse team.
Yeah, I thought both guys who won this weekend, Gio and Sheldon, both needed a win pretty badly. Gio, obviously, he hadn't had one all year, rookie season. That was good for him. And then Sheldon only had that one all year. Last year, I feel like he was dominating early part of the season. He had the most wins for a while in 2022, and then Carson ended up finally passing him, But it's kind of been weird to see Sheldon not win very much or not even really be on the podium that much, really. He's had a lot of bad runs here recently. So good to see him get back to victory lane. Maybe that's the turning point those guys need, a little momentum. And like you said, this weekend last year coming up, that he won the big 100,000. So that's a pretty good time to get rolling here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And David Gravel made it interesting at the end of that race as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, both nights Gravel about won. I watched the first highlight video yesterday, and I watched the other one here about an hour ago, and I was like, man, dude, he had a great weekend. He was close both nights, just caught lap traffic at the wrong time there. So, and you know how good he is at Houston and how big that weekend means to him with his car on the track and all that stuff. So, I think Gravel right now with the speed he's showing, he might be the favorite for this coming weekend here.
I thought it was big. The biggest story to me was Carson Macedo after that horrifying crash at Knoxville last Saturday night. For him to be back in the race car that
Strapped
soon
in.
after broken ribs, whatever, he was back in the saddle Friday night at Beaver Dam Speedway. It was good to see him back in a car. I think there was a question in my mind if we were going to see him back in a car that soon. He was banged up pretty good.
You know, that just shows you the dedication to Carson Macedo, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know, and you can't take a weekend off. You know, I mean, luckily, when you're me, you're not a driver, right? You can take a weekend off here and there, but when you're a driver, you're racing for a championship, and you're within 30, 40 points of a championship, you can't take weekends off, man. Even if you got a broken rib and some burns on you and whatnot. I mean, that is some serious dedication to his craft. That just shows how bad that he wants to try and win this championship. So, he lost a couple points to Brad and David this weekend, but I don't think anybody was expecting to go out and light the world on fire, so to say, and win any races this weekend. But to go out there and run, I think he was top 5 or maybe top 7 or 6 both nights, a respectable run, and he's heading to Houston, another track that he likes too. So, that was awesome to see that. And Carson's a good friend of mine as well, and it was good to see him get back in the car and be successful right off the bat.
Yeah,
and he couldn't have been 100% in that race car this week.
No doubt.
No way.
No way.
Yeah.
Listen, Brad Sweet's back up on top. He's David Gravel is behind by 10 points. Carson Macedo is behind by 40 points. This is kind of a 3-car battle right now. Wouldn't you look at it that way?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody that's really going to, come from behind those guys. I think everybody else is about over 150 back or close to that.
107
is back there. And
Logan Schuchart is 176 points behind. He's in 4th.
Yeah, he's going to have to go on a serious run or hope that those top 3 guys have a really bad streak there. But I think it's really down to these top 3, and I think it's going to be them the whole way through with how it's been so far. David and Carson, they get 40 back, and then they catch back up, and they take the lead for a weekend, and then it, kind of strings out a little bit again, but then they catch back up. I think that, it's gonna be down to the wire between those 3 all throughout this year. And what was surprising to me was, Brad Sweet did have some good runs this weekend, but when I watched the highlights, man, I don't think he made the dash either night, which is a huge surprise because that is one of his best tracks in Beaver Dam, and he struggled early. It looked like I didn't see qualifying or the heat race or anything, but I just saw him on the starting grid like 11th or 12th or something. He had a really bad start tonight, but I was surprised to see that. But, that point battle is it's going to be tight all the way through, I think.
Yeah. Now, they don't count points all 4 nights at Houston's, do they? How's that work?
That's what I was wondering. Yeah, I was hoping you guys had the answer to that. I haven't heard anything about it because I think last year they did for the first. They didn't have points on the final night, I think, but they do. I think they do for the first couple of nights. I'm not really sure on that, but I hope they do because it's going to be a huge field. There's going to be a lot of good cars there racing, trying to make the show. So that could, we get guys like Rico and whoever else is, a bunch of other guys. Brian Brown will be there, I'm sure, and all these other guys showing up that they can, really shake the points up. Larson will be there too. So it's going to be a fun weekend, and I hope the points count. I'll tell you that right now. I really hope they do count for this week.
Yeah, no doubt. I was going to go out to Pennsylvania Speed Week this week, but unfortunately, it looks like there's a 60% chance of rain all week long. So it looks like I'm going to go. It looks like I'm going to go to Houston's instead.
I wonder if we'll get any guys to come from over there to Houston. I thought Macri was. He ran Houston like last week, and then I thought I read that he was going to Pennsylvania Speedway. Maybe they'll change their plans with that weather forecast. And I even think I saw Justin Peck was supposed to go run Pennsylvania Speedway, but now with that weather, maybe we'll get a couple guys that come out to Houston to try and run with the Outlaws.
Macri is entered at Houston's this weekend.
Yeah.
So,
oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I read that he was going to PA Speed Week or something. I thought that was kind of weird. But
is Brent Marks?
I didn't see Brent Marks on the entry list.
You didn't see him
Rico
on there.
is going to be there.
Yeah, he'll be there.
And Kyle Larson will be racing up there this week.
Yeah.
Yes, he will. I think he's going to miss one of the nights, though. I think he's going to miss out on Friday because he's got some NASCAR stuff. But, yeah, I think he'll be there Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So, last night that track took on a little bit of rubber. It's going to be hot up there in the 90s, and the sun's going to be baking down on that racetrack. They've got a big challenge ahead of them this week to stay on top of that racetrack up there this week.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that place, it does seem to have that problem, right? Seems to have a little bit of a rubber problem, but when they get it right, man, does it put on some great racing.
Yeah.
And even at the 100,000 race last year, it kind of took rubber, and it still ended up being a good finish between McFadden, Kofoid, and then Sheldon going around on the last lap. When you get it, in my opinion, a track of that size, I just feel like it is the perfect size for sprint cars that it doesn't matter what happens, they're going to have a good race. So
yeah.
I think that they're going to have to put a lot of water on it. They're going to have to do a couple track prep sessions per night probably, but it should turn out to be pretty good.
Well, that Saturday night race last year was one for the ages. Who can forget how that all went down? If we can just kind of recap what happened in that race last year, because that was a classic.
Yeah, it was weird at the beginning. They did a lot of track work right before the feature, and then the first, half of it, I would say, it was kind of just right through the middle, and the track did not get wide at all. And then they had that red when whoever hit the gate on the front stretch, the gate opened up, and then under the red, they took the push trucks out there and packed the top of the track in under the red, which I've never seen before. It was kind of an interesting move, but then it opened it up, and then obviously we had that crazy finish. So I'm hoping that we get a little bit more of the same. I think when you put the best drivers on the planet, a bunch of them racing for a bunch of money, no one's going to settle for second this weekend. That's for sure.
There you have it, Chase Rodman, pit reporter for the World of Outlaws.
Yeah, no worries about the track, the way they prepped it this week. We were talking about the rubber down last Sunday night, but they've
right.
really done a good job.
They've done a great
on
job
top of the racetrack this week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, Kirk, you've thought about it, and you've thought about it. Who do you think's going to win?
I'm going to go with David Gravel. He's due for a big win tonight. He had all those second-place finishes. He's driving the company car, as it were, at the company track.
Right.
I think he gets it done tonight.
Logan Schuchart was pretty fast last night.
And he was fast the night before. He finished the top 5 the night before.
Right. But do you think Buddy Kofoid's got a chance to win in the 83 junior car?
He does have a chance, but something tells me that
he's not fast enough.
When you're up against guys like Gravel and Carson Macedo, there's another guy you want to keep an eye on tonight. Brad Sweet, Kyle Larson. Sure, Buddy Kofoid's got a chance at it.
Yeah.
But I just believe that Gravel, Macedo, Sweet, Schuchart are gonna get the best of that 83 junior car. I think Buddy's going to have a good finish, but am I picking him to win tonight?
No.
I think he'll fall just a little bit short.
Now
watch him go out and get it done tonight, right?
He might get it done.
Hey, you cannot say one guy is the odds-on favorite to this thing. There's at least 4 or 5 guys that have got a better shot than the others, but, hey, anything can happen in this deal.
If there was one favorite, it would be David Gravel.
Yeah. And, of course, Sheldon Hodenshield's another driver that runs very well at this racetrack.
He's last year's winner.
And we all remember how that race turned out. He came from out of nowhere to win that race. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this race plays out. There's going to be a lot of action. Traffic is going to play a big factor in this race. Who's going to be able to work the traffic better than anybody else? That's going to be the key factor.
Yep, no doubt about it. I'm going to pick I'm going to pick Logan Schuchart to win.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a popular win.
Yeah.
That would be his first major big-time win. If you remember at Knoxville a few years ago, I think he might have had the fastest race car. He came from way in the back up towards the front, and he's flirted with big wins. He won a big race at Jackson here a couple of years ago, if you remember that.
Is Rico fast enough to win?
Sure, he's fast enough to win.
He ran 12th last night. He started 10th.
Yeah.
You know, clean air is very important.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And there's just so many factors that are going to play into this that it's just going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
I hope my good friend Blake Hahn makes it into the A main tonight. Because that's 5,000 to start, right?
5,000 to start.
Wow.
He's going to have to come up through the qualifier. He's going to start not a really good spot in the qualifier race, so he's going to have to make up some big time.
How do you
ground.
know that?
Huh?
How do you know that?
It's going to be hard to pass.
How do you
fierce.
know he's not going to make it up far in the qualifier?
Well, he's got to start so far back in the qualifier. It's just going to really be hard to pass a lot of cars to get yourself in enough.
He made it in last night.
Points. He's 34th in points right now.
He made it in last night.
Yeah, but it's about the combined points that'll get you into the A main, and he's 34th in points right now, so it's going to be really tough.
He started 6th in the B, ran 3rd last night.
Yeah, he made the A main last night.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're in the top 20 in points, that you're sitting in pretty good shape. Now, there could be some guys that come outside that top 20 to make it in, but if you're as far back as 34th that Blake is right now, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
Not to say that it can't happen. And I thought there were times last night Blake ran really well. He was working the high side very well last night. Didn't have among the fastest race cars last night, but he certainly wasn't among the worst either.
Right, no doubt about it. Hey, Kirk, Chad Simpson picked up the win last night at Fayette County Fairgrounds.
That was the Hoker Trucking East
West
Series. That's the East Series. The Malvern Bank is the West Series. Hoker Truck is the East Series of the SLMR, Joe Kosiski's Touring Series, and Chris Simpson picks up the big, or was it Chad Simpson picked up the win last night? Chris or Chad?
It was Chad.
So that was at the West Union Racetrack, Fayette County Speedway in West Union, Iowa last night.
And so Ricky Thornton picked up the win at Lernerville Speedway last night.
They had double features there, too, last night. Ricky Thornton Jr. and Max Blair winning the two preliminary features in preparation for tonight's Firecracker 100 at the Lernerville Speedway. They had four features, actually, yesterday, because around noontime yesterday, they had the two features. They got rained out on Thursday night. Jonathan Davenport and Tim McCready won those two races. Pretty good race action in the daytime.
Yeah.
They'd gotten a lot of rain on Thursday night up there, and so the track was rough, but it was good racing in the daytime. So those two guys win, and then last night, Ricky Thornton Jr. and Max Blair come through with the win. $50,000 on the line for the winner, Firecracker 100 tonight at Lernerville Speedway. That's a pretty good racetrack, isn't it?
Brandon Overton was second. Jonathan Davenport was third, just so you know.
Brandon Overton trying to get over some bad races here lately. He's not had very good fortune here of late. Tore up some race cars. Seems to have that turned around just a little bit at Lernerville Speedway. So it'll be interesting to see what Brandon Overton does tonight.
And Jonathan Davenport won the first race, didn't he?
That was in the daytime. They had the two races around noontime yesterday. Davenport, McCready in the afternoon, Thornton, Max Blair last night.
Davenport it's hard to believe that he races for $5,000, right?
But it's $50,000 tonight.
Yeah.
So that's the big, and he's also racing for the championship for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
Yep, no doubt about it.
So that just another big crown jewel event. Cannon McIntosh has won 2 in a row in the Power Eye Midgets.
Yep.
Got the win last night.
All right, Kirk, we need to get you out of here so you can get going.
Got to get up the road.
Got old John Lee in this Racing Boys studios,
Yeah.
ready for the big road trip.
Yeah.
John and I are ready to head up the road.
John just
Can't
walking
wait to get
around.
He's gonna getting some photos.
Snapping pictures like he always does.
Yeah.
Photographer at heart.
Yeah.
He said he overslept
That's
this
what
morning.
he's good at.
Yep. All
Taking
right,
pictures.
Kirk.
You guys
have a safe trip going up there.
Safe trip, Kirk Elliott and John. You guys be safe heading up and back. And
Hey,
have
John,
fun.
keep an eye on Kirk while he's driving. I will do my best. I'm just telling you.
Kirk's pretty good. Kirk's pretty good.
Yeah. Just take I-29 to 90 and turn right.
Can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Like-
I know this. It's
Listen.
5.5 hours from where we
Listen,
sit right now.
it will try to take you up 229 when you get up there to Sioux Falls.
Right.
But that 229, it's not as good a road. Just take 90 all the way up, or take I-29 all the way up to 90 and just turn right.
That's the way to do it.
Go east.
So the GPS would take me the other way, right?
It will take you up 229.
And don't go that way.
I didn't go that way.
92 right on it.
Well, you've been there before, Scott, so I'm going to take your
Yeah,
word for it.
yeah.
John and I are making our first visit to Houston Speedway tonight, and I can't wait to get there.
All right. Have fun.
Have fun.
All right, Todd,
All right.
you have a good time on your trip.
I appreciate it. Yep, I'll be checking
Hey,
in. And
so how long are you going to be gone?
2 Mondays and a Saturday. I'll be back on next Tuesday. So
All right.
Like I said, I've got people watching my house. I got house sitters, dog sitters.
When you have dogs, man, it changes
everything. My stepdad, he lives right next door, and he was going to make the trip, but he's got some other things, so he's staying home. So it's just one of those deals, guys, where we're in the middle of summer and everybody starts hitting the road, man, whether it's for racing, baseball, or whatever
Right.
it be. So
I'll be sitting right in this studio tonight watching a lot of races.
we're going to try to get Scott to buy him a new chair so that he's got some comfortable digs watching these races from the studio. But yes, if you guys are traveling tonight, be safe, be careful, have fun, buy the merchandise at the tracks. Make sure you take care of your drivers.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk. It's all been brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. Again, they're going to be racing down at CMS on June 30th. Get down there and check them out. It's a great organization and a great place for people to start racing. It's just a wonderful series, and if you want to try to buy a car, you need to do so because, man, they're low maintenance, they don't take a lot of work, and it's a great organization, the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. So they're going to be racing down there again at CMS on June 30th. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor. Thank you so much for tuning into Track Talk. Again, all brought to you by Rod End Supply. We'll see you next week right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.